Well, to put it quite simply here, the next 3 or potentially 4 episodes of this save could enable us to realise a number of our key dreams and ambitions at Southend United. The 15th season has become a very special one, but we're coming up against an old foe today. Arne Slot is in charge of Newcastle and he's taken them to within touching distance of the top. As the Premier League title race opens up again, we've got to manage our squad well because in 4 days' time is the first leg of our first ever Champions League semi-final. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 129 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We are back today with 5 games to go in the Premier League, and our gamble, which almost paid off in midweek, has left the title race a little closer than when you were last here. We were defeated by Spurs with a backup side, there's injuries in the first team squad, and now there are just 4 points separating us and Arsenal, and 6 points to us and Newcastle. If Newcastle beat us in this one, there'll be 3 in it with 4 to go, and our fixtures are not enviable towards the end of the season. In addition to that, we've got to balance in our second ever FA Cup final, our first ever Champions League semi-final, and an opportunity at history in multiple competitions. Could it be a treble? We've never really won more than one of the big ones in a year. So if you want to see if we can do it this time and stay along for the ride, then please do put a thumbs up on it. But for now, let me show you that one game off camera, because you were with me for the great wins against Atletico and against City. But we did lose 3-2 to Spurs, and it almost went the other way. We were 2 up at the break thanks to Vite and Carr, but we just ran out of a bit of steam. In the end, I had to bring on a couple of youngsters because we just had nothing fit on the bench, and it became a bit of a problem. Vince Humphreys, the young centre-half, came on. He gave away a penalty. Mikey Magwood came on up front, gave away the ball for the other goal. Literally cost us 2 of them. Then we conceded late on after saving a penalty. It was such a frustrating day. In truth, we didn't deserve to come close to winning a game, but once you get 2 up, it'll always be frustrating. With that in mind, though, we've got to be very careful the next few weeks because we're going to have to juggle our squad for Premier League matches. You can see it's virtually 2 games a week till the end. We've got an FA Cup final sandwiched in 4 days after a Premier League game. We've got a Champions League tie and a big Premier League game away at Everton in a space of 6 days. So the chances are, depending on the result of this one, I'm probably going to show you all of the next 4 matches over the next 2 episodes. It feels like the whole save has been building up to a moment like this. I can't then just say, oh, I'm not going to show most of it because the games are too close together. So let's go and crack on with the first 2, which are Newcastle and Juve. Yes, we've been giving young players from the academy a chance. Yes, we've been rotating a squad quite heavily. These 2 matches, as long as they're available, the first 11 will play. The dynamics are looking good, just Kivrakidis unhappy. He should be alright now, really. We're playing him in his preferred role pretty much every game. He's still complaining about something, though. And otherwise, the support is great. The club's in a very good position. And if you look ahead to today's matches, Brighton have got a tough trip to United. If they don't win, they're virtually out of it now. We're playing Newcastle, and Arsenal got a very winnable game away at Norwich, so should get back within touching distance. If we don't win this, it could be 1 and 3 points, the gap to Arsenal and Newcastle, and that would be some blockbuster finish to the season. Let's go and see what 11 they've put out today. Helguera on the left, very much a star of the show for them. And the right winger, he was playing in midfield last season. He's the player we tried to sign in the summer, and then they just offered a new deal on 575 grand a week. And of course, there's a familiar name at right back as well. João Gomez has gone there, played virtually every match for them, and he's been excellent. Just different players suiting different teams. Let's see who we can put out, though, because this 11 is going to be, well, pretty strong, I would suggest. I feel like we're only a few away from our first team, and while there are some heavy match loads, a lot of that is from the back end of 2 weeks ago, rather than the recent times. And the only big decision, really, is do I go McNaughton or Sadler? Sadler never lets us down. He was great in that FA Cup semi-final. McNaughton's been brilliant in recent weeks. I'm going to bottle it. I'm going to stick with Jude Sadler. The rest of the team, no, I will go with. Vasquez on the bench. We can't keep throwing him into these big games. He's just coming back from injury. We've got to manage him. De Angelis is out, not quite fit yet, as well as the other 2 that we're missing anyway. So this is the team that we've gone for in full. I thought about risking Teddy Ivanov, but I just love having him off the bench because I know he's got a goal in him. So I'm going to stick with him as my sort of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for this evening. It is Jude Sadler in goal. Memic and Carlos the fullbacks with Herbert and Rakowski as centre-half. Robertson and Adamson the wingers with the flattering to deceive Bernberg alongside the returning to fitness Marciano. And then up front it is Ashley Carr and Joe Wills. Carr is getting going in recent weeks. He's doing okay. I really need you to deliver today, pal. We know against Newcastle we're almost bound to get a thriller. As St James's, it's normally 3 apiece and then some. Here, what will it be? I just don't know. Arne Slot has worked miracles there, got them right back in the mix. As Aaron Moore drops to the bench, one of the best centre-halves in the world. They've also dropped James Simpson out, who we've tried to sign before. But in fairness, that's at the expense of Gomez, who we had last season. And then most of the attacking players have scored multiple goals against us in the past. So let's go and tell the lads to prove a point. We rested everyone in midweek so we could cope with this occasion. Don't know if Newcastle played in a week. I would assume so, because they had an FA Cup game last weekend like us. But let's see what we produce from the kickoff. As Adamson goes for a switch of play, intercepted to Marciano. I feel like Newcastle's white and black kit would have been less of a clash than this one. I mean, it's still you can tell the difference, but it's not great. As Robertson puts it in, defender misses it. 23 seconds, and Ashley Carr has scored. Go on, Big Ash, you know what you're doing. We never doubted you at all. He's creating storylines that are just going up and down an emotional roller coaster, isn't he? What a goal that is. I wouldn't rule it out being the first of many things he's involved in today. But Jorg Robertson gets the cross in. With half a minute gone, we're ahead. With a quarter of an hour approaching, it is Newcastle in possession. They've responded well to the goal. Saw one bit of text commentary saying Sadler had to tip it over, but nothing else since. As Gerardo goes back to the central defender Lozano. Everyone in our half now. We know they're going to commit men forward. We know it's always going to be a good game. But if Adamson poaches it like that, we have a chance to counter. But Carlos misplaces the pass. Diaz goes wide. Our summer transfer target loses it. Carlos does well. Another long highlight with not much action so far. Which end is the chance going to fall? Herbert finds Marciano and Carr. Lovely flick round the corner to Joe Wills. Goes from distance, almost in. God, a keeper was worried about that one, wasn't he? Fabulous stuff from Southend United. And Joe Wills is brimming with confidence at the minute. As Zanelli gets the ball forward to Santas. Into midfield to Diaz. Bernberg does well there, working hard with Marciano. Then gives it straight away right on cue. Stop praising people in commentary. Helguera gets down the left. We know he's a threat. To the byline and across. Rakowski does well. Danger's not gone yet, though. It's back in. And Herbert clears. Was that a penalty? It looked clumsy from Rakowski, but nothing given. Newcastle still pushing forward. In the end, they're forced back to the keeper, but we're still seeing it, which suggests there might be another wave to come. Here is Diaz. Back to Zanelli. Wills almost nicks it. They're away down the right with Gomez, our former player. Zanelli back into midfield to Gerardo. Great through ball to Helguera. Into Diaz. That goal is a thing of beauty. I'm not a Newcastle manager. I'm very much hoping we beat them today. But you've got to appreciate glorious football. That is a goal from the absolute top drawer. And while we could have stopped it on a couple of occasions, you've got to applaud it. Magnificent goal. Arne Slot ball is well and truly alive. Well, Jorg Robertson has just pulled up with a bit of a tight hamstring. I'm not risking that injury. So Yucalano will get 55 minutes today. Just starting to get a few injuries at the wrong point here. We have got a free kick just before the break into the back post. Headed away as far as Lozano. And now they can break, but Memic does well. Mops up really well down the right-hand side. Gets to the byline. Chance to cross. As men in the middle. It's up to the back post. Keeper comes and Wills didn't really challenge as much as I thought he would there. Boy and Holt will play out from the back. And we'll probably have some defending to do in a minute. He's taking his time about it there. Big kick downfield. Should be towards Herbert. And you'd always trust him to win them. Not the best header though. And it's back into midfield for Newcastle. Marciano nicks it. A lot of technical mistakes here. And another one right on cue. Joe Wills turned his back. And the ball had gone 10 yards to his left. As Nowler gets in. Good effort. Just wide. A lot of long range chances. A lot of half chances. And a lot of poor play in the middle of the park. Bernberg and Marciano not playing that well at half-time. The confidence isn't really there from the boys, is it? So we're going to keep trying to get them up for this. Bernberg's nerves, honestly, important points of the season, he always lets us down. And I don't really understand how he's one of the world's best. Surely we can find a suitor to take him. Arsenal are 2 up, which is going to make it trickier. We've now lost Adamson on the left-hand side as well. Tight calf. Gomez, our former player, is injured at right back. With it being nearly the hour mark, can we make another sub at the same time? Just seeing if there's anyone else we can bring on. Ideally, it would be left back, wouldn't it? But we've got no one there. Memic maybe is an option, but no. We're just going to have to make all the other 3 subs at once, because this is a bit of a difficult scenario now. Injuries in the key wide positions, but here is the sub Vasquez getting up to speed, gives it away. He's not looked anything near his best at any point this year. Really need him to have a good pre-season next time as Carlos carries it forward. Great run from Giancarlos. Yucolano's there to sub. In he goes to flex in. It'll go down as an own goal, but I don't care. Yucolano created it. Carlos did really well. And we're 2-1 up. It doesn't matter how they go in. As long as they do, we'll win the game 2-1. And if we win this, I'll start to feel a bit more confident. Newcastle have had most of the momentum. We've only managed 2 shots on target all game. But we've scored at the crucial time. And with 15 to go, Ashley Carr will come off for Teddy Ivanov. We're also going to take off Marciano for Ivo Torres. And we've got 1 more remaining. Memic has had a poor game. On comes Edward Aguiman. Cross your fingers that the depth of the squad finally shows its quality now. With 10 remaining, it is 2-1 to Southend. We're attacking down the right again. Aguiman gives it away from the throw. It's cleared straight back to him. And now Rakowski. Bernberg up to Torres. That's a red card, referee. 2-footed challenge. It's another one of those big game lunges. This time it's gone in our favour. Hopefully Torres isn't injured because we've got nothing behind him. But that could be the big boost we need. Just stop them going on the front foot completely. And as we approach the 90 minutes, 10-man Newcastle not yet making an impact. And we managed to nick it with Herbert. Can we get that 3rd goal to wrap it up? Vasquez to Herbert. Wide to Carlos. Almost nicked by Simpson. But Vasquez is in. Oh, it's over. It's a pretty poor effort. And it remains 2-1. But we've got 7 minutes of stoppage time. And anyone who's watched some of the Southend Newcastle videos over the years here will know that there is always stoppage time drama. Vasquez picks the ball up. Inside left. Finds Torres. And now Yucolano. Put the game to bed, will you? Straight at a keeper. Come on. We're dominating the game. But we've got to make it count. Can we hold on for the victory? It should have been more in the last 10 minutes. But we win. Arsenal win by 2-1 as well. But that is crucial because I think we've just turned this into a 2-horse race now. Let's get the table up to confirm it. Arsenal stay 4 points behind with their win away at Norwich. And now Newcastle. Newcastle now 9 points behind with 4 games to go. And Southampton to play, who are second bottom. That's probably not going to go wrong. The big question now is whether it's us or Arsenal. We'll be back in a moment to play Juve as we turn our attention elsewhere. And then we'll get back to the Premier League action in the next episode. It's fitness test time and Peter Bernberg has just picked up a knock prior to this game. So with Adamson doing the same in the week, Marciano not being fit, this could be a really tricky one for us. As we go through to the fixtures, we're away from home first. Can we just stay in the tie? Oh, they're playing the box midfield as well, which I hate. And they've got a former star of ours. Aaron Berek is playing number 10. He was the one who forced himself out after 2 or 3 years. Not the hardest worker, but an excellent technician. So we've even got a former player coming up against us here. Let's go and have a look at the team selection for today. Neither centre midfielder is fit. Adamson is, but shouldn't really be playing. And Vasquez's replacement has a heavy match load. So Yucolano will stay on the bench, but we're going to go for Torres and for Kivrakidis in the middle. Probably the 2 strongest backups we've got, in fairness. But it does mean then on the bench it will be Curley, Worcester, and then who knows what after that. De Angelis is fit enough to feature if need be. Bernberg can probably do the same. But really, we're filling the bench pretty desperately there at the bottom. Only midfielder left really is Jimenez. And it doesn't look particularly good, does it? Adamson has been in really poor form. I'm going to have a little chat with him. And criticise his recent form and say, come on, come and score today. Do the job away in Turin. Aside from that, the match load is lightened elsewhere. It's just whether we bring Ivanov in. But the front 2 have done all right. Carr scored against Newcastle. So let's stick with it. It is the same team, bar the 2 centre midfielders who are both out injured today. They stay on the bench just in case, but they're not really fit enough. It is Kivrakidis and Torres who are into the team. The other 9 the same, despite Adamson not being fit. So as we go away to Turin in our first ever Champions League semi-final, we're a little bit lightweight when it comes to the bench. Well, ironically, I just saw from the messages left over that we had a link from Liverpool for one of our youth players from this year's intake who wasn't rated that well. 1 star ability, 2 star potential, and they were offering 20 million. So we might be getting some big money there. I'm looking at this squad though. Nuno Espirito Santo in charge. Okay, he was in charge of City for a while over here, wasn't he? But Berek is the man to watch out for. Will the former player come back to haunt us? Let's find out as we go and prove a point. Full substitutes bench for the Italian Giants. A thrilling 3-all draw for them with Dortmund in the quarters. What will they do today? We just want to stay in it. And if we go a goal or two up, I might even go a bit more defensive. We'll see. Might need to play a bit more narrow, but on the break, we should be a real threat out wide as we are here with Adamson and Carlos early on. Back to Adamson and Kivrakidis. It's been poached, and this is where we're going to be under threat. Carlos does really well to recover. Back into centre half, the skipper Herbert plays into Kivrakidis. Prove yourself today. Gives it away on cue. Kivrakidis, you have been begging to play in that playmaker role. You're supposed to be one of the best in the world in your position. Prove it. He wins the ball back there but can't keep it. And it's through to Rego. It's going to cost us a goal, is it? No. Hits the post. We get away with one. Kivrakidis, pull your head out your backside, will ya? As we're up the other end with a corner for Joe Wills. Herbert's there and heads just over. In this sort of competition, Lewis Herbert's goal threat from set pieces is always going to be one of the greatest deciding factors. Hopefully he can find another one here. He set one up, didn't he, away in Madrid in the last round. But we've got to hold on defensively and we're looking under threat a bit. I hate playing against this formation, I've got to be honest. As here's Akiri. Goes back to his centre half. They're only leaving one back, so if we win it, we've got a great chance. If we don't know, this will keep happening. They'll throw 4-on-2 through the middle, and Herbert will have to throw himself into last-ditch challenges, like that one. It goes for a corner. The danger isn't gone yet. Do not give away a goal from a set piece. Carlos heads away. It's only as far as Rego on the left, though. Carlos heads away again. Robertson can break. It doesn't lead to anything. Juve the dominant force so far. I'm umming and ahhing about going more defensive. I'm really contemplating it. Get Ivanov out on the left wing for one of the strikers. Take the other one off for a midfielder. Maybe give Adamson a breather, I don't know. As Carlos throws into Kivrakidis. He's not giving it away again. What are you doing? Wake the hell up, will ya? As Herbert gives it back to Sadler. I'm becoming very frustrated with a couple of our players. Rakowski gives it to Torres and now Memic. All will be forgiven if we nick one here. Robertson plays a 1-2 off the defender's backside. Gets to the byline. Cross towards Joe Wills. And that is a beautiful header. What a way to make it 20 for the season. Bullet header. Great run across the front post. Ashley Carr, nowhere to be seen. He's not putting his head in where it hurts. But Joe Wills is. And that's why he starts for us every week. Proper goal scorer. As Adamson nicks the ball on the left. Can we take advantage? Maybe they'll have a little wobble now. Or will we get overexcited? Because that pass is well behind Carlos. Nothing silly, please. What are you doing? How have they missed that? They've put it wide. I don't know about you, but these big games, how many individual errors? The only thing we're missing is the red card curse. Don't rule that out at some point. As Memic gets down the right to Ashley Carr. Often better when he turns provider. Look at the edge of the box. Look at the back post. Joe Wills there. He's lost out. Jan Carlos finds Adamson. No, the danger's still there. Carlos cuts inside. Set one up against Newcastle. This time just plays wide to Memic. He gets to the byline. There's 4 in the middle now. Can someone find a cross? It's back to Torres. He finds Robertson into Ashley Carr. And Ashley Carr. He won't put his head in where it hurts. But he'll find a little swivel in the box onto his left foot and make it 2-0 to Southend. Dion Kranjic, who on earth is that? Ashley Carr is the new star of the show. 37 gone with 2 up. And my God, we don't deserve it. Look at Juve's stats. Better expected goals. Have had the best chance of the game. We've taken our chances, though we've got a corner to defend. Memic does it very well. It's out to our former man, Berek. He's a world-class footballer. We've got to watch out for him. He runs in alone. Thought about going for a shot there, didn't he? Thigerson goes wide. Zakiri's got it. It's up to Berek again. You just know he's going to score or set one up at some point. Here goes Busto down the left-hand side. We can nick it here. We've got a 2-on-1 at the back. Heavy touch, but they get away with it. Lovely football again. Bus goes wide to the right to Sani and Thigerson. Juve definitely giving us a clinic in possession. And they go through there. Was that offside? I thought that was just off here. Camwenyo puts it in. It's a very good finish, but I'm pretty sure this is off. Hopefully VAR is going to do us a favour. It's awarded. I thought it was offside. Who knows these days? As Juve have a free kick on the right. Imagine we don't even go in ahead. Torres heads away. Zakiri gets there. The 2 minutes are up, ref. Have you looked at your watch, sunshine? Back to Bus on the edge. Into the back post to Rego. Great save, Jude Sadler. Take a bow, Jude. What a save again. And that is half-time. 2-1 to Southend United. But Juve have been dominant for the most part. We're going to ask the boys to prove a point. We'll give it 15 more. But Adamson, just nowhere near it. Kivrakidis has been poor. Now Adamson's picked up a knock as well. So Vasquez is going to be on before too long. I'm just trying to eke it out as long as possible because we haven't got many options in certain positions. As Joe Wills has a corner, a third goal would be a lovely time to do it. As Rakowski and Herbert attack the corner kick just over the bar. Hour on the clock, let's do it. We're going to bring Jimenez on in midfield. He's not the best player in the world, but he'll run. We'll move Torres over to the playmaker. In fact, what I might do is put him as a centre mid on defend. Just give us a little bit more solidity. We'll take Adamson off on the left for Vasquez. And we'll possibly leave it at those three for now. I could bring De Angelis on later for Carlos, who struggled a little bit defensively. But the way we're playing for now, I'm really pleased with the outcome. Yes, we've given up a few chances, but we fought really hard. And we've kept ourselves in the game. We're going to go for... I can't take Torres off. I can't do it. I'm going to take Jan Carlos off for... Who's on the left? Teddy Ivanov? No, De Angelis. And then Wills will come off for Teddy Ivanov. That'll be our 5, I think. We've made the 2 changes there. Can we do anything before them? As Memic works down the right, would be lovely to nick a third on a break. But if we go into the home leg ahead, for me, we get through. If we go in level or behind, it's all to play for. Rego's intercepted by Torres. I thought they said he was tired. It's like a Duracell bunny, but Carlos. Oh, get off the pitch, please. Just let us get to the subs without conceding. Because he's got nothing left. Rego's run the show. Down the right he goes. We've got pending changes, so we know it'll be a goal, will it? Barek's in the box, headed away for a corner. Now the changes should get done. I know we don't want to make them while defending a corner, but they needed to come off. We've got 1 remaining if we need it. Can I bring on Bernberg in there? It's going to be too late at the minute. Turati's got a goal kick. Play short to Christian and now Sani. Into Thygerson. Carries it through midfield. Yeah, we're really struggling to cope. Camwenyo picks it up. Scored the goal to get them back in it. Goes wide to De Gea on the left-hand side. Beats his man with a chance to cross now. Into the box. Good save, but the rebound's in. Right, we've got to be careful here because this could get out of hand. 2-all's a decent result. Ashley Carr is going to come off. On will come Vite. And I'm just going to sit him in front of that back 4. Hold on for this 2-all draw. Take it back home. Be an anchor man. That'll do me for now. Ivanov up front. You can go on as the advanced forward if you want. And just play through the middle like that. We'll put Vasquez on an attacking duty as well. Try and get the support from wide areas where we've got the extra man. And then in the central areas where they've got 4, we'll chuck a third in the middle. I might leave the fullbacks back as well. I don't think we need to commit out there. Just let the 2 wingers have a run. And then try and find Teddy Ivanov. I think that's about the best we can do at this point. It is 2-2. Juventus are back on terms. And while it started like a dream tonight, if we can hold on for a draw here, I think we take this to the home leg and say we've done our job. Berek is off now, the former player, but we've made all of our subs and we're clinging on. We're into stoppage time. There's 5 minutes of it. This is a gamble and I might look stupid for it, but I'm going to get the time wasting on now. I'm going to trust myself that this is a good result. At home, I fancy us against anyone. We're still going to counter, but the rest of it, we're just going to sit behind. A 2-all draw would not be a disaster. It would leave it in our hands at Steve Tilson Park. Could have been better from 2-0 up. A tight offside for the first goal. But overall, with the players we had out, with the lightness we had in midfield, that didn't allow us to play the defensive tactic, that's a pretty good game. We gave them a real threat on the counter. And in the second leg, I'm hoping we'll be able to overrun them at home. Juve a good side. They deserve their place in this semi. We're still probably just about favourites to make a first ever Champions League final. Let's get through the dressing room, say we're happy with that. We'll be back in a moment to have a look at the schedule. I think the next 2 games are the ones we're going to have to show. Well, there we go. 2-all from the first leg as Real Madrid beat AC Milan pretty comfortably. Looks like we'll be facing the most successful side in Europe in the final if we get there. But for now, let's have a look at the schedule because 4 points separate us and Arsenal at the top of the Premier League. And what do I do about this? Because We face Everton in 3 days' time, and then the second leg of the Juve game is in 6 days' time. We're going to have to rest everyone against Everton and potentially concede the 3 points. Then what we do when we get Sheffield United and Newcastle with the FA Cup final, your guess is as good as mine. For now, though, the most important game will be the second leg against Juve. That is exactly what we're going to show. We'll find out together what the damage is with our reserve side against Everton. We'll show those next 2 games on camera next time around. Then it will be Newcastle and one of the last 2 Premier League games, followed by hopefully a Champions League final to finish. If you're looking forward to it and you did enjoy this one, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. Let me know if you agree with my decision that 2-all's a good result and to start time wasting and making sure we got it at the end. Or do you think ultimately it's going to cost us? What a result against Newcastle to give us the luxury of resting at the weekend. But otherwise, I don't think we would have had an alternative and we may well have lost both. If you want to stay up to date and find out if we do, or whether we make our first ever Champions League final, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. If we get there, can we beat the most successful side in Champions League history? Certainly not going to be the easiest final to get going, is it? We've also got a thrilling FA Cup final against Newcastle to look forward to. We never seem to have a bad game against them. So what a finish to the season it promises to be next week. In the meantime, we will be back on Monday with our coach's head save. We were job hunting yesterday, so please do click in the eye above to find out where we ended up going and what interviews we had. It's also the start of the new EFL season, and we are back with our score predictions every match day from the Championship. You can see our full pre-season predictions for all 4 divisions, and of course our match day 1 predictions up in the eye above, as well as a link to the Twitch channel and so much more. But thank you so much for being here. Your support is massively appreciated. We'll see you back here next time, as a place in the Champions League final is well and truly in our hands.